Good morning, students. Happy High Five Friday. You have 3 minutes from the time the bell rung to check your homework. The answers are on the slide in front of you. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes and you're going to check your answers from your homework. If you didn't complete all of your homework, ask a neighbor to make sure that you're doing this correctly because we're going to take a quiz in a few minutes and I want to make sure that you've had enough practice time and that you're not going to make mistakes on the quizzes as well. Okay, so I'm going to start my clock. You guys have 3 minutes to check your homework. If you're confused about something, feel free to ask your partner quietly. Do not make a ruckus, as you have a very nice teacher in the room with you helping you out right now. 3 minutes starting now. You have 2 minutes remaining. You have 1 minute remaining. Thirty seconds. Okay, time is up. Let's transition to what we're talking about today in class. Today we're going to introduce the lab after we take our quiz on ionic compounds, which I mentioned yesterday. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to review at the beginning of class with a partner. I'm also going to go through a couple questions on the homework that I know students have either struggled with in the past or have struggled and called me this evening about, which is perfectly fine. A couple of expectations for today. Make sure you're listening carefully. I don't know how well the volume is working in my room without me there. So it is important that you're listening carefully to what I'm saying on the slides, as well as obeying any instructions that the teacher in the room has given you. For homework tonight, for this weekend, you need to complete the odd ionic compounds on the back of the homeworks. So the homework assignment that we just checked, on the back of that, there's about 50 problems. You need to do half of those, the odd ones, this weekend, and then on Monday we will do the even ones. The idea behind ionic compounds is practice, 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 practice. This stuff is not going away. I've said this a million times. Continue to practice. Okay, a couple ones that we need to review for the homework so that we're clear on the quiz. So this is going to serve as a mini review session. You can see question 26 is calcium hydroxide. So that is a type 1 ionic compound, calcium being a predictable charge of having a charge of +2. Hydroxide is a polyatomic ion, and the charge for hydroxide is OH minus 1. So if we look at and compare the charges, it should take 2 hydroxides to cancel out 1 calcium. So the 2 you're going to place outside of the parentheses for the hydroxide. So when you write calcium hydroxide together, Ca and OH, okay, you need 2 hydroxides to cancel out the calcium, and the way you represent that is by placing parentheses around the hydroxide and then putting a 2 on the outside. Anytime you need to put a subscript next to a polyatomic ion, it needs to have parentheses. We talked about this in detail yesterday. Another common mistake that I've seen is number 32. So this one is gold perchlorate. Perchlorate is kind of a special or a less commonly used polyatomic ion, so students have trouble recognizing it when they see it. And also, most people don't recognize that gold is a type 2 metal, meaning that you need to calculate the charge. Perchlorate has a charge of -1, and so since it takes 1 gold to cancel out 1 perchlorate, the Roman numeral for gold must be 1. And this is nothing different than we've covered the last few days in class. On questions 29 and 30, I talked about this a little bit with most of the classes yesterday, but you need to know that ammonium, the ammonium ion NH4, is kind of an exception to the polyatomic ions. First of all, it's positive, and you can see right there that the charge is positive on NH4+. Most polyatomic ions are negative, so that makes it a little unique. And when you use ammonium, it behaves like a metal and a polyatomic ion. So it typically comes first when you write the name and the formula. And if you need to put a subscript next to it, you have to surround it in parentheses. If you're not really 100% sure on how to use ammonium, just do the best you can today, and we'll readdress it on Monday. All right, a couple of quick practice problems. This is a quick practice for the quiz today, so you can work with this on a partner, and I'll give you guys about 3 minutes to kind of look over any ones that you're not really sure of before we start the quiz. The first one, if you look at, oh, sorry, I'll let you guys practice for 3 minutes. So you have 3 minutes to begin. Go ahead. Please make sure that you're working quietly and diligently with a partner. You have 2 minutes remaining. You have 1 minute remaining. 20 seconds to finish studying. All right, so that's time up. Let's go through these two examples and see how you guys did. Firstly, you should have recognized that this is the carbonate ion, and carbonate should have a charge of -2. So if you're going to cancel out the charge of -2, you can see there's only one titanium there, and so the charge of titanium must have to be +2. So when you write the full name of this, you're going to write it as titanium 2 carbonate. When you're writing the formula for strontium chlorate, it should look like that. Okay, so strontium has a charge of +2. Chlorate has a charge of -1, so it takes 2 chlorates to cancel out 1 strontium, and you put the 2 on the outside of the parentheses because you don't want to write 32 next to oxygen. All right, it is now quiz time. Please remove everything from your desk. You may use your own periodic tables, so no blank periodic tables. You can use your own periodic tables. You need a testing folder up, or a testing folders up, and that is the only things you should have out. So a pencil, testing folders, and your own periodic table. There are 4 versions of the quiz, A, B, C, and D. When you finish, turn your quiz into your class period folder. So if you're in first period, turn it into first period, so on and so forth. If you finish early, please remain silent and responsible during this extra time. You have a lot of homework, so you can go ahead and get started on that. Or if you have something else you would like to work on for another class, I'm okay with that as long as you're doing it responsibly. Please do not disturb the other students who are still taking the time to finish their quiz. They were silent for you, so please return the favor. Yeah, that should be it. Okay, 20 minutes. Good luck.